Good evening. Welcome to a Rando After Dark. We are ready to see another exciting match of Link to the Past Randomizer as part of SGL 2021. We are actually almost ready to kick off the official week of SGL. It's going to start Friday. It's going to be really exciting. And tonight, we actually have a losers bracket top 32 elimination match between two amazing runners. You might have heard these guys as maybe on the ladder, other tournaments. Got some two extremely powerful names, household names here. We've got Kyong versus coolpapabell, and the winner, of course, is actually going to be facing the next round in top 32 to try and advance into that extremely lucrative final prize pool of almost $5,000. And of course, unfortunately, the loser is going to end his tournament life, at least for this year. Hopefully, we'll see him back next year. I'm Claire Mouse. I'm joined here today by Wallkicks. Wallkicks, how you doing?
It's good. I had to look outside to confirm that it was in fact dark outside, and you are correct.
We don't have daylight savings quite yet, but it is certainly getting darker, and it is certainly. I mean, I really miss the sunlight already.
I know it's gonna be a lot less fun after next week when everything is like. I get home from work at like 5 p.m. I'm like, oh, it's already dark, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna be so sad, man.
But we get that extra hour of sleep on Saturday night.
Yes, that is definitely
who's the real
something.
winner here?
Our beds. That might be.
Anyways, moving right along, like you said,
that's right. Yeah.
SpeedGaming Live, we are underway here. Standard start. We start with boots. We get to go fast, have a sword. It's all lovely.
We should not listen to our uncle, by the way. He seems like he's a bad influence. Not only does he tell us to go outside in the danger, we also do not commit smoking here on SpeedGaming or any of its affiliates.
To show you how little I pay attention to my uncle, didn't even know what he said. He
said I'm going for a pack of smokes, and we should never do, in this case, what our uncle says.
Very, very true. Don't listen to your uncle.
I mean, in his state right now, he is hunched over. We don't. I mean, that's the kind of effect that smoking has on you, by the way. And of course, apparently, it's only worth like 20 rupees. So I guess maybe smokes are also pretty cheap.
Or maybe he spent all his money and that's all he has left.
Oh yeah, that's actually a very good point.
But anyways, yeah, standard escape. So people who play NMG usually will have a little bit more of an execution advantage here at the beginning, but not like a big one. Usually you're going to see runners finish the escape sequence, provided they don't get another mirror or something to help them kill enemies faster. They'll usually finish between like 5:05 to 5:20.
Yeah.
Some of the top tier runners might be pushing the 5-minute mark. But I've noticed Kyong has already made a couple of little minor flubs here and there.
It's actually really amazing how these little times actually just kind of they add up, right? But I mean, honestly, the difference between a 5 escape, while it is extremely, you get lots of bragging rights for having something on that. Difference between 5 escape versus 505 versus 510. Honestly, probably, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. Escape is kind of a nice part in some cases. I think to kind of maybe calm your tournament nerves a bit at first, right? Something that's very familiar to people. You've probably done this hundreds if not thousands of times, and this is a pretty high stakes match, right? You are this is an elimination. You are going big or going home after this, right? So.
Yeah, I mean with the nerves like that, you definitely want something that you're kind of familiar with to kind of get you involved and get you inside. Of course, if you die to select ball and chain guard, then your nerves just shoot through the roof.
Yes, that would. Ideally,
because then on top of that,
yeah, that's right. We would like so dying unintentionally would really be something that our runners would like to avoid, especially this early on. You did mention Wallkicks. For example, if we could say get a mirror or something in Zelda Cell, that could really help out our escape time out. But if we on accident death warp early, that is not going to help our escape time.
No, but both runners at this point are through what I would consider the most dangerous part of escape, and that is that ball and chain guard.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he does do a full heart of damage, which is pretty insane given, this is kind of the first thing you do, and you're at 3 hearts, and you're unsure how to approach it. Yeah, I mean, for people who never play the game like that could be a little bit of a difficult thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, so there's a reason why some NMG runners basically consider the ball and chain guard to be the final boss. Despite, whatever, hour and a half later, we're gonna face some pig that does 8 hearts of damage to us. Ball and chain guard is surprisingly difficult at when you're only in a couple minutes into the game.
Yeah, and another good thing about standard is that you start by doing the escape, and so usually if you're playing like an open mode, the escape sequence or front of escape might be something that you put off for a little while. So these are checks that our runners know that they never have to come back to, or never have to be like, okay, when do I make the play into, say, front of escape? Something that in an open seat otherwise is a sphere zero, or essentially sphere zero checks.
Yeah, no, you actually bring up a really good point, especially in open seas, right? The longer you put off the back of escape or Hyrule Castle, the less incentive you're gonna have, because like for example, like when it's in this case sphere 0, sphere 1, or whatever, right? Like these your options are pretty limited, right? So then Hyrule Castle with 3 items, or back escape, have additional couple more, right? It sounds pretty lucrative, right? It sounds like a very dense item location, but once you get clubs, once you get hammer, you've got all of Dark World, you're not gonna want to come back here, right? It's races each other this way, by whether or not you visit escape first.
Yeah, and then you get later in the seed and you're just like, oh man, they're like, at this point, if it's there, I've kind of lost.
Yeah.
I've done it so much. Yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and it can be a little bit chaotic at times. Nothing super exciting so far in the front of escape.
You are correct. We have found, actually we did find our 10 Uncle Bombs, but those of you may have played actually a more actual standard, without a sword assured escape in terms of weapon. And we also did find a couple more mini bombs that we can't pick up because we found the Uncle Bombs. But oh well, I guess more bombs is good for Kakariko. We just don't need any more access.
Yeah, and already seen the map, so we know that Sanctuary will have an item. And from here, then it's going to be kind of how do you want to approach. I know some runners like to. We've seen a little bit of some early divergence that some runners maybe go to Kakariko. Others might choose to kind of head over to the South Shore area. With 10 bombs, it's not unreasonable either way. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see maybe one of our runners tries to diverge a little bit.
Yeah, and it's certainly so I would say it's a very common opening, especially in this tournament, casual biz, but especially when you do after the standard escape. Oh, we have a very quick map check. It's both red crystals actually at Hera in Eastern and regular crystal desert. I was gonna say though, this is a very standard opening or continuation onto Sanctuary, from Sanctuary, Bog Rocks. Check Lumberjack is optional, and then head over to Lost Woods and down Kakariko. But as you said, wall kicks, if someone runners want to try and increase maybe a little bit of variance, go to South Shore and potentially find a bottle, or even better, your flute. Then you could only have to make your Kakariko trip once, right? Kyong, getting really bullied here by these crows. They're not even from the Dark World either. What's going on?
Having a little bit of trouble. Noticing that our Lumberjack item today is not relevant, so we will only be killing Aga if Aga is either access to Dark World, or for whatever reason we would need the hammer. I don't think that's a thing that would happen, that the hammer would be a Pyramid Fairy and you would need to do Aga to get the hammer or the seed. That seems super unlikely.
Yeah, well, they are kind of short bottle than do you think they would kill Aga just about 20 rupees though? Because it would get them a little bit closer.
I mean, I would have done it before rescuing Zelda, TBH, but
oh, you're right. Oh, man.
if only it were that easy.
If only we found the cape or something that we can actually get in. That would be pretty cool. And the rain state, I'm not sure if that's actually going to be allowed or anything.
I can talk to there was definitely a seed that existed for key drop shuffle, which isn't part of the main website at the moment. But key drop shuffle being that the keys that guards drop, or keys that are under pots, are also shuffled into the pool. But there was definitely a seed that I played where that was standard escape, so you had to do the escape sequence. But in order to pick up your Hyrule Castle big key, you had to go to the last check in Aga Tower to actually get that big key, and then go back down and rescue Zelda. That's
pretty nuts. Alright, so finally, we have found something worth noting.
Trackable item.
Actually 2 trackable items. Forgot about that very important shield and the flutes. Oh man, alright, we finally got something good. Actually giving our tracker here actually something to do for once, other than just to make sure we mark all our crystals, and well, in this case only crystals. JLo, clicking all the buttons behind the scenes. Thank you in advance. But yeah, let's see, what did we get? We got a flute, we got a mirror, we got a shield, right?
Yeah, and so for both runners are going to be feeling a little bit good about their decision, because had they gone South Shore, they would have potentially been punished a little bit by not picking up that mirror earlier, or not picking up that flute earlier.
Also, Yeah, no, the flute. Oh man, dude, and we got silvers. All right, well there goes my Bolenmo dream already. I mean, they still have to find the actual bow, but I think the chances of them, you know, actually switching off silvers by the time you get that boss probably is going to be on the lower side.
It's a vanilla bottle there. Also, coolpapabell had exactly 100 rupees. I'm a little curious to know where Kyong got his extra 18, but very. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I remember Karen doing some extra tree pulls. You know, as he was trying, like as he got bullied by some birds. I remember seeing some green ones. Not sure where you ended up picking up maybe some blue ones, but
probably a tier. He probably did a tier 1 then in the forest. Afterwards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That would make the most sense. But yeah, Kakariko proving to be very good to our runners, knowing that at this point we're probably not coming back to Kakariko for anything that we need. Considering we did pick up the bottle and the flute. So nice early routing for both of our runners, and hopefully we'll kind of continue. Clearmaster, are you looking for like, what kind of seed are you looking for? Are you looking for a seed that really is like gonna, you know, maybe just be a breadcrumb of like one item to another? Are you hoping for like something that gives you a lot of items early but makes you but forces you into a decision? Or are you looking for like a linear kind of jet seed?
I would actually like to see an execution battle, honestly. So I would like a lot of offensive power immediately. So that Master Sword, for example, is gonna help. So long as I find a bow, get another Tempered Sword or something, and then I just want them to get all the items, so then they can basically just knock out every single crystal dungeon. That's what I want to see. Now, of course, you know, we haven't seen any of our pendants yet. Oh my gosh! All right. So speaking of more items up here, we have the hook shot. That's also a pretty good item. So what do you think about Swamp Palace? Can we find those flippers, Walkids?
Well, I'm not really concerned about Swamp Palace at the moment. I'm a little more interested in the mount, because we have flute, we have mirror, we have hookshot. Like Tower of Hera is something that we could do. Although you were risking potentially leaving an item behind because we don't have a fire source. Although that doesn't seem to be something that coolpapabell is really concerned about. Kyong being a little bit more thorough, going to be doing some more South Light World checks, maybe hoping to find a fire source. That way, they're not going to be worrying about a potential item in Hera basement.
Yeah, no, this is certainly a another like item dense location, you know, and also pretty, I would say, considered pretty standard. And maybe Kyong is just kind of interested in kind of doing his like normal route. Ooh, there's some more money that looks like he's actually going to pick up. The only 100 rupee hoard, rupee pot, pack, whatever.
Yes.
Only 100. The one in the game. So.
There is all. No, I'm just kidding.
Alright, actually, so we have an out of logic blue cane with that bottle. But I mean, so we don't have any real accessibility items in terms of kind of helping us for a smart world, like gloves or camping, which is kind of needed for Spy Cave, but it is something to keep in mind. Of course, as you mentioned, though, we don't have a fire source. Specifically, we don't have a light source, so that cane is going to be slightly out of logic.
Yep, but we do get one of our Dark World. Yeah, we do get one of our Dark Worlds. That is a glove on the NPC from Mini Moldrum Cave. I'll be curious to see if Kyong chooses to do either Ice Rod Cave or Agina's Cave. Not sure.
He is fluting, yeah, but... Alright, this might be Ice Rock Cave. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit faster. Fluting over to the 8th spot is just a little bit faster, I think, than dashing over. And then, but as you said, Wall Kicks, maybe this is just going to be a quick trek over to Ice Rod Cave. Might do some water checks, right? Like water walk over to like Waterfall, but right now we're still a little short on money. That 5 rupees is not going to get us anywhere close to 500 that we might want to pay off Zora.
Nope, but we're definitely doing some water checks also. Or maybe we're not. Oh, he might be. Nope, we're not. He set up, like, he dashed to the side to set up the water walk.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did see that. Yeah. Maybe he was thinking about it, and then he's like, oh, no, wait, I have the whole mountain, just as you said earlier. Wall Cakes, like, there is a whole heck of a lot here available. That was a really nice hero pod.
Yo, CPB was really stoked for getting that hero pod. That was actually really nice. Something that actually happened a little bit ago. I don't know if you noticed, Clemass. Did you see the map check that we got in the Dark World?
No, I totally missed the Dark World map check.
We have pendants at Mire, Turtle Rock, and Swamp Palace.
No way. Dude.
Yeah, so those are our pendants for today, which makes Swamp Palace a little bit spicier given our item layout. I gotta admit.
Yeah, actually, so we know that the flippers are still required logically, right? Because we know that Ice Palace is a crystal. We do have to complete it. However, we have seen that outside of Swamp Palace, flippers are basically just a suggestion. People have certainly gained access into, at least to the island of Ice Palace, without much trouble.
Yeah, and like I'm sure. I don't know if both of our owners know, but I'm fairly confident that Kyong would know how to pick up the Lake Hylia item in case that's something important
that's
without
relevant?
needing
Yeah.
the flippers. Like they can water walk to that. So it'd be interesting. Again, interesting to see where our flippers show up. Swamp Palace, by the way, is the green pendant.
Oh man, I don't know. Well, you know what? Well, Cakes, it adds to the spice of Swamp Palace. You know, you're just gonna make it even more tempting, potentially for a true end. But this is actually this potentially could be a very fast seed, right? Because what has basically plagued many of our runners, for so many seeds is that pesky Ice Rock Hunt, coolpapabell. Please don't! Oh my gosh!
That was a dangerous dash right
wow. All right. Well, the good news is he survived here on 4 hearts. And hopefully he's going to get something good. He does have a couple hearts here to refill. Wow, he makes his way out to the north part of Paradox Cave. Wow, okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna say though, so what was the worst part? Ice Rod Hunt, right? So Turtle Rock is a pendant, so chances are we may not have to find it, and not only Meyer and Turtle Rock are pendant, so we may not even need to go on medallion hunts today. Like, this, has basically eliminated a lot of potential Ice Rod medallions, basically, unknowns, right? From what we need to find for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, and plus, I mean, Canis Samaria might not even be required here. Like, there's a lot of things that we may not need this seed, which is super interesting, or at least a lot of unknowns as we move forward.
Yeah. So normally, right, runners are very happy to see Canis Samaria. But in this particular whatever pendant layout though, you actually bring up a good point because you want the Canis Samaria for stuff like, for example, Ice Palace. You want to do Icebreaker, right, to make the dungeon much faster. But you can't now help but wonder because it gives you access to the back basement of Fire, it gives you access to all of Pendant Turtle Rock because that's really where you want to go, right? A big long pendant dungeon that potentially could have nothing at the end.
I would be super interested to say we do find the Cane of Samaria, but we never step foot into either Pendant Mire or Pendant Turtle Rock. I'd be really interested in maybe even more likely to go to Compass Room of GT because you would want to think that Cane of Samaria actually means something in logic and isn't just an item sitting in your inventory. So there's a lot of things to think about given our pendant and crystal information. Having said that, hey, there's this whole seeded thing is happening right now. Not a whole lot going on in Paradox Cave. We did pick up powder, and that was about it. We also did find both items in Tower of Hera, so we're not worried about an item in the basement.
Yeah, and this is actually pretty good news, which we also do. Well, actually, I'm not sure if we know that Pyre was firelocked, but you are correct in that we do not have to at least go back to Hera in this case in order to get anything else. In this case, nothing has been abandoned or isolated so far.
Yeah, and what was not nothing about Hera was firelocked. I think it was either one of the mapper compasses or mapper compasses.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing to worry about there. Kyong, where are you going, buddy?
Did he do Spiral Cave yet?
No, I think he was supposed to be heading in that direction, and then went out the wrong door.
All right, well, good thing we could go backwards. So he'll be running through Spiral Cave. Looks like though on the other side of the screen, coolpapabell is kind of repeating what Kyong has done earlier. So he's gonna pick up his glove here very shortly from the NPC. And probably not much else, and I guess now we're going to be curious to see what else he decides to do. He also is not very close to Zora money, right? The seed has been kind of stingy in terms of actual, money being handed to you, so maybe he'll check Ice Rock Cave, maybe this is a reason to go check Agina?
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to kind of see overall whose route has been a little bit more efficient. It looks like Kyong might be coming out barely seconds ahead at the most. But he has not done Agina's Cave, which is something that CPB is doing right now. So it'll be interesting to see which one comes out. Also want to welcome everyone from SpeedGaming 5. This is Link to the Past Randomizer, the SpeedGaming Live 2021. We are in the losers bracket of top 32 between Kyong and coolpapabell. Winner moves on. Loser is unfortunately eliminated.
Alright, so coolpapabell beats Kyong to Agina's cave, which Kyong is going to pick up his, I guess, one bomb that he could carry out of Agina's cave.
It'll actually be 2 because he's using.
Oh man, wall kicks. This is why you don't do. This is why I don't do math on stream. This is why I need my co-commentator to do math for me.
Counting with wall kicks and clear bars.
just wall kicks. Don't listen. All right, so actually, so I was actually wondering, so like, where else haven't we seen? So we, so we do have Zora in Logic with those gloves, right? We don't have anything else technically in Logic like Hobo or some of the other waterfall fairy. Even those are very common checks in this mode, just because you can water rock out from Ice Rock Cave. Looks like Noctoil is giving us a check at Agina. Blue Mail's nice, especially with that mirror, because they don't have to worry now about slow and arduous death warping. I could just use the mirror out, so they at least get some nice safety. And we get a second bottle. Other than that,
I would be pretty worried about. I'm sorry, I'd be starting to get worried about Zora if I were either of these owners. Although, I suspect we're probably finding Mitts in Eastern, and then this is the classic Mitts flute mirror, no moon pearl. Oh,
checkerboard?
It's gonna be in checkerboard. Like, I don't suspect we're looking at a hammer quite yet, because in terms of what we have left, we have Eastern, which without a lamp doesn't get us super far, and we have Zora. The hammer doesn't do a whole lot for us either way.
Right. At least immediately, right?
Yeah.
So like early, so certainly mid Dark World access. Well, it is Dark World access. We get access to one portal, and at least we can take the shortcut over to that portal. Kind of the downside though is that routing the Dark World without a hammer can actually be quite tedious. You're gonna have to make basically a lot of trips over. Basically like a whole loop around, right, in order to get from that one Dark World portal near Village of Outcasts into like where Pot is, right, or like High Cave.
Yeah, and then it's always about making the tough decisions. It's like, oh man, do I do Thieves Town without the hammer? Am I going up to Tactical Woods? Like, there's so many awkward decisions that you have to make when you have Mitts for Dark World access as opposed to hammer glove. So yeah, lot to think about for our runners. But so far, I mean, we're still right on each other's tails, and which is what you kind of want to see about 20 minutes in.
Yeah, and I'm sure neither of these runners. Ooh, that temper sword is nice. I don't know that. Well, so we still don't have a lamp, by the way. So Aga is not on the table quite yet.
Which means it's time to farm for money. Because Zora is all that we have left in Logic.
You are correct, because as we're going to see here on coolpapabell's side, and very shortly on Kyong's side, because we're going to have to go get the get the big key out of this vanilla location, and going through these dark rooms, you absolutely need that lamp. So whatever is going to be in the big chest, and on Armos, even though we can't get there, so unless it's going to be like the bow or something, right? We're not going to be able to finish up this dungeon.
Imagine in the silliest scenario that it's actually going to be like the lamp is going to be on Zora for like Mitts right here in Eastern Big Chest or whatever, because this is the big key right here.
Right. Yeah. Also, if Mitts are here, or sorry, not Mitts are here, but I mean, if they're Mitts in the big chest, are you are you going to Meyer?
Oh yeah, well, Meyer or King's Tomb, either's fine. Like if Mitts are here, that 1,000,000% tells our runners that it is the lamp that's on Zora, because I don't think there's anything else that it could be. It's not, so don't worry about what I just said. But yeah, time to farm for money. For both runners, with the amount of money that they do have, the easiest way to farm at this point would probably just to be save and quit to the Sanctuary, and do a hula hand from there. CPB hasn't done Ice Rock Cave, so that's kind of what he's doing right now, but Kyong looks like he's just going to go ahead and hula hand right now, which will get him up to 500 rupees.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like he's doing. No Mitts, and we've already done the back escape because it was a standard start, so this is going to be actually like a very convenient way in order to basically bomb yourself, and the game doesn't know where to put you because of this one particular bomb, whatever, ricochet, and then it's, hey, you get free money out of it.
Money! CB setting up, looks like they're going to be doing some water walking. Knowing what he should know and that all he has left is Zora, I would hoped he would have maybe focused on picking up the 500 rupees first. He's at 281. I think
It's really far, right? Like, you need a lot of money here in order. I mean, Hobo and like Waterfall can still bail you out, right? I mean, there are rupee hordes out there, but yeah, it's kind of far. Looks like Kyong, though, on the other hand, he dipped into Mini Moldarm Cave, just so he can basically kind of hug that edge, so he can, in this case, get he can store his water walk, and then we are going over to Zora.
Yeah,
some
so both
water
runners,
checks in between, yeah.
Yeah, so both runners doing this again because they want to just include a couple of additional checks. Without the Moon Pearl, we can't actually fake flipper into Waterfall Fairy, so that Kyong is not going to worry too much about Hobo for right now, and instead going to take care of the 2 checks here. Although if he does pick up a heart that fills him up, he will be locked out of the other chest.
Oh. Alright, okay, so nothing bad happened.
Didn't matter at that point because that was the second chest.
Yeah, and of course, actually, Kyong also, so this is actually something that you see a lot of runners very commonly do now. So as part of the SGL settings, we only get to keep up to 2 bottles out of the 4 that are placed in the item pool, and they always come empty. So if you're a Waterfall and you have a bottle, this is going to be a really nice, kind of like easy time in order to see if you can get like a freebie, because if you pick something up later, you're definitely not going to be like, oh yeah, I picked up this random red potion that I could use for quad later or something like that.
Oh, it's
alright, those are very important. Well worth the 500 rupees that we ended up farming for.
Who could have seen that one coming?
Actually, so I think there was actually a qualifier seed as part of SGL for this year, where basically like runners knew that Zora had something, and it was like either like the lamp or the hammer. But then like it was basically just so the people who just decided to guess that it was going to be the lamp at Zora just ended up doing Dark Aga. Because that was like your logical Dark World access, and it turns out the people who farmed the money got rewarded with the hammer, and you didn't actually do Aga. So that was actually quite like the sea diversion.
Yeah, that's a rough one to make a decision on, because like at that point you just kind of, yeah, that's tough. But Kyong now is in Desert Palace, can't complete it because we don't have a fire source, but could be our logical answer at this point. And as someone in chat mentioned, that it could also be King's Tomb.
Yeah, we just picked up those myths, and so but potentially we are going to be able to see it. So Desert does have the big key on the torch. Potentially it's going to be a check for an item here in the big chest, and then maybe just straight to the back of this. Oh no, we can't go to the back yet. We don't have fire source. Okay, so you just said that like 5 seconds ago.
I did. It's okay.
It's amazing. Yes, I'm supposed to remember things that you say. Got it.
No, it's fine. No one listens to me anyways.
Well, yeah, you know how to count. That's what
I do know how to count. Alright, mids for CPB. They're going to semi quick. Curious to see where they will start if they choose to do King's Tomb first. Looks like they will.
Looks like yes. So we're going to be able to get this check. Hopefully, well, okay. If you're early fans for coolpapabell, you're going to hope that fire source is here, and that he can actually clear out desert the first time he's over here. Of course, it might be a minor setback in this case for Kyong if something goes here.
That's not going to be the case though, because that is both items out of desert. So Landmo would not hold anything today.
Alright, just a piece of heart. Yep.
Which means our progression. Well, okay, hold on a sec. Kyong is gonna.
He's gonna try and mirror mushroom into Mire-Shed.
Is that because he's a natural mushroom?
Well, he is a mushroom. Look at him. He's so cute, man. He's trying to open up these chests. Hey, look, there's our Zora money. He's just hiding here all along.
Yeah, you just needed to, pay Zora to get your access here.
Yes. If we have some sort of time warper, that would also be useful. Oh, okay. All right, Kyong. Whether or not he made that check the first time, we didn't catch it. The second time, we did end up seeing that the entry is Quake. No medallions to worry about, but at least that's something to keep in mind. Oh no, coolpapabell.
Hey, look,
unfortunately,
it's our moon pearl. Oh, it's our hammer. Okay.
It's our hammer. Hello. That's
okay.
Funny...
Well, that opens up one thing. What does it open up?
Wall kicks. You told me we never had to go back to the village.
Okay. Look.
Okay, I listened to you then. I have selective hearing. I only remember when you predict things and they come true.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Alright, so this is our moon pearl? This has to be a moon pearl.
This is our moon pearl.
Okay. Because you did say that we ended up getting both items out of desert, right? So it cannot be on Lamo. So basically, they're gonna just come back and clear up this desert.
It's the moon pearl. Okay, good.
It's the moon pearl. All right, it's sitting in a very circular red bowl. I guess that's because that's where pearls are. It's like a giant oyster from a bat-like bat. Yep.
You know, having said that, getting the hammer before the moon pearl, super nice.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, you know, like we were talking about, you know, like Mit's, you know, only Mit's access and late hammer. I mean, hammer go mode is great, but like, geez, getting to that hammer go mode, like, it can't be too bad, right? You're making multiple Dark World loops at that point. So really cool to be able to see early Mit's, early hammer. I mean, basically like the whole world's open to them.
Yeah, and Kyong is choosing to do Dark Death Mountain as his first Dark World play. I kind of like it because ideally, if you know, in Kyong's mind, ideally you never have to come back up here after this, because coming back up here means you're going independent Turtle Rock, and that's never a good thing. So Kyong is doing this early again in the hopes that this is just his last trip up to Dark Death Mountain before GT, and hopefully he just finds what he needs. So yeah, what are we looking for? We're looking for a fire rod. We're looking for a bow. That's it.
Wow, that is a very small list of things. Speaking of, we are are we in bow go mode already?
We're in bow go mode at this point. Well, bow, you know, hopefully that GT Big Key ain't cane locked mode.
Oh yeah, that is true. It could also be. So maybe, you know, maybe the cane will just be, you know, on our way somewhere. I mean, yeah, I'm sure these runners would like to see the cane before Ice Palace so they can make things faster. But as you also mentioned before, Cakes, that cane can also have other logical implications. And you know, if they get it before in this case the bow, I mean, you know, is it tempting in this case in order to, you know, dip into some like pendant dungeons that we might have access to?
I mean, this is tough. Like, we have the entire game at this point to search for a bow. Also Quake, by the way, for Turtle Rock. So
interesting.
One medallion for 2 pendant dungeons. So yeah, now it just becomes for Kyong. He has like so much to think about to find a bow.
Yeah, well, at least luckily for him, though, he does have a couple of, you know, fully clearable crystal dungeons, right? You know, because he picked up the fire rod, for example, from Super Bunny Cave, he has Skull Woods available to him. As you said, we also have Thieves Town, right? We have the hammer. We know we don't have to abandon any items in there. coolpapabell, on the other hand, though, because he didn't end up going up to the mountain after he got missed immediately, he's actually gonna have to go. Like, he can't actually end up clearing out Skull Woods at the moment.
Yeah, so Steve V doing kind of a little bit more, I don't call it traditional Dark World starting, but choosing to, you know, do one of the 2 non-DDM starts and be going straight into Thieves Town. So again, like, I don't know what route do you take here. Like Kyong seems to be focused. Yeah, Kyong seems to be focused on density, basically checks per minute. The idea of, okay, I'm just going to clear the game, clear what I can as fast as possible, and hope one of them is the bow. Of course, he now has 2 crystal dungeons that he can do right here in Skull Woods and
it's close. It's like the forest version of Mire. Looks
yes.
Pretty dark anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
chat, by the way, coming up with very creative ideas as to where this bow is. A lot of them seem to think that the bow is just sitting in pod. Some of us believe that might be mean to our runners.
I mean, yes. It is certainly not. We've certainly seen that type of situation before. Hopefully today, though, seems like the scene is actually, the layout has been actually pretty generous, right? We've got actually so many of our major ticket items in terms of accessibility, right? We've got Mitts, hammer, mirror, temper sword, everything. Maybe we can just hope for this boat to be actually, you know, in a decent spot, so we can actually have a very like fast, you know, comfy seat for both our runners.
Yeah, and I know. I remember when I asked the question, you were looking for like kind of an execution-based race, and that largely seems to be what we're getting, with the exception of the SCO mode item.
Yeah, and of course, actually, as part of SGL, for those of you who may not have been too familiar, this is actually one of the only modes where the bows are actually not progressive. We did see runners pick up silvers. We cannot use any of the silver arrows until we find the one bow, in this case.
Yep.
Do you see Kyong? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you see Kyong kind of, I don't know if it was like muscle memory, because, you know, as you said, he's only in Boko mode, one item, and he remembers that, of course, the bow actually could be in Mothula, so we should go check that first.
I think part of that was recognizing that he picked up a compass in the one chest that he did do before coming back here, and so the chances of that chest being a small key, the chest here in the back, is fairly high. But like I said, like the bow could just be on Mothula. Like Mothula can't be a key, so there's a decent chance that Mothula here has an item. Holy heck!
Holy cow!
Really fast.
Kyong, you talking about a battle of execution? That is like a perfect Mothlight. You didn't even. This is like NMG 10 out of 10. Like no spikes of move. This is like amazing.
Yeah, and
you
he was
dream
rewarded.
of these types of fights, basically. And,
yeah, that
and
was an
for
amazing
Kyong.
fight. And he was rewarded, by the way, with the.
A unique item.
A unique item.
Oh.
Imagine hints at this point, and you get a hint saying there's a unique item on Mothula, and you're bow for go mode, and you're just like, bam, go. And then,
maybe that is.
You get it.
Yeah, you would be. I mean, you would just rush Mothula, and you would just be so sad.
It would be so sad. But yeah, CBB, by the way, almost done with Thieves Town. Don't think we picked up anything of value. Not gonna lie, I haven't been paying the most attention. I was a little bit concentrated on Kyong's incredible Mothula fight, but
yeah.
I can't say that's an excuse because Kyong's Mothula fight took, I think, 3 seconds, and I'm pretty sure CPB has spent more than 3 seconds in this dungeon.
You know, give or take, you're the math person here of our commentary pair, Paul Walking, so I'm gonna have to trust you. But I think actually, at least according to our tracker, JLo, who has been marking everything, we have actually not found the one and only important item that we care about, which is the bow. So at least Thieves Town is not going to yield any more progression. But it looks like, though, you know, because with the hammer, I did see him pick up like 20 rupees out of the big chest, so we did end up getting everything.
Well, that's good. But now, again, it's just a matter of where do you go from here? You looked nice. Oh, God,
oh my gosh, that is awful. Okay, alright, so, but the bow cannot... Wait, can the bow be on the pedestal? Okay.
Yes, but that's not something that...
Alright, well, Kyong looks like at least he's gonna check. Because I was gonna say, like, if you happen to do the front of Skullwoods first, right, you are, by the time, you're gonna get the book, and then you can have a very convenient mirror portal over. But you're now, like, in the, whatever, front of Skullwoods, right? So if you're gonna check the pedestal, you can do it right now. You can go front all the way back.
Oh, it's a cape! I know exactly
I
know where Kyong is going next.
Where is Bumper Ledge? Like, what is there right now?
I was like, we're going straight to Bumper Ledge.
Wow. Oh man, dude, if Bumper Ledge actually has the bow, like, I mean, this scene is like, it just looks so good. And yet, like, and you know, but that's gonna be amazingly good knowledge if this is actually the case, right?
Yeah, and because if that's the case, then Kyong's attention suddenly shifts from looking for the bow to looking for Kane, Quake, and Flippers.
Yeah, oh good. Alright, moment of truth. It is not quite the bow. It looks like it is a potential bottle or shield. The double rupees is actually just a mirage. So as part of the SGL replacement pool, because we can't carry more bottles, we can't get anything above 5-year shield, it's going to be basically 5 rupees supposed to replace those, but because like how big like the icons or like the items are, it has to basically take twice the amount of space as 1 rupee, so that's why it looks like 2. But if you go pick it up though, it'll actually only be 5 rupees. So.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. Oh, things are happening. That's a Kane of Samaria.
Interesting.
And considering what CPB found at Dig Game, it was Quake. It was Quake.
It was Quake. Oh my god. Okay. Well, you know, I don't want. Man. What do you do, Walkings? What do you do? You have Mire now completely open to you. You've turned around completely open to you. Mine is first Tridents.
Yep, we have Mire open to us now. Like, so okay. Reasonably, you do the crystal dungeons that you can clear first, which at this point is Ice Palace. After Ice Palace, like there's really no reason to do desert at the moment because you have both items. So like, but then you're basically choosing from like Pendant Mire for 2 items, Pendant Turtle Rock for 4 items, maybe 5.
Maybe 5. Would you
Pod without a bow for whatever that gets you?
Well, kids, let me ask you a question. So let's just say that we end up going into somewhere on the overworld. Let's say maybe Coolpapabell. Any plans the flippers? What do you do?
You cry.
You cry. I don't know. No tears. All smiles on the stream. Kids,
okay,
we're only gonna be
smile
happy.
on the outside, but inside you're just crying because you have 500 options looking for a bow, and then you curse the people who developed the mode for SGL because clearly progressive bows are superior, and that's what you say in the interview. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying in this seed, I'm pretty sure our runners would have preferred progressive bows.
That, okay, I can certainly give you that point. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear basically the last 15 seconds of whatever you just said.
like for me, like I like the idea of non-progressive bows. I think they're pretty cool. I think for our runners right now, I think they're cursing them because they'd be in go mode otherwise, or at least
that's right.
Like I've been saying, that CPB hasn't actually picked up Fire Rod, so CPB still has a couple things that they need to do. Plus, that Cane of Samaria is going to be pretty isolated. I think that Bombos though might drag CPB into Ice Palace.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that too, because Kyong has an easy access into Ice Palace. With the Fire Rod that he found up in the mountain, CPB doesn't know about the Fire Rod yet, and so he, for all he knows, that Bombos is his ticket into the inside of Ice Palace.
Yeah, and there are people who might believe that the concept of, hey, Bombos means Fire Rod is going to be an Ice Palace. That's not the case this seed. Could be a bow, though.
It could be a bow. We still haven't seen those flippers, by the way, show up. Which is actually another one of those things where, it is worth considering that maybe, in the back of our runners' minds, it could actually just be flippers combo, right? And then in this case, then Ice Palace wouldn't have anything. Not sure if that's going to be maybe on the forefront of their minds, because as you said earlier, it is going to be a crystal dungeon that we can actually complete.
Yeah.
Not in logic necessarily because of those flippers, but it's still something that we have access to.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about not having. I would still go into ice in this scenario even if I didn't have flippers, because it's not the flippers I'm necessarily worried about. It's the bow I'm worried about.
Yeah.
CPB is doing kind of more of the overworld checks, which is fine. Although we are mirroring here. What are we doing here? I was going to say he's going to take this all the way to Catfish, but choosing not. Instead, we're going to head over to... Are we Painless Mire?
Yeah, are we going to Mire? Well...
This is play!
Has he maybe not gone into Mire yet? Okay, alright.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say, boy, this is a call and a half.
Well, we have double Zora money now, at least.
I would say, after needing to farm to get Zora, here we are with over 1,000 rupees.
All right, so he did do the front of desert. Okay, so looks like he is fluting. Where are we fluting to next?
I am at
mountain.
BDM.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
So
yeah,
this is good. This is good. This will be their Fire Rod. Without the cane though, can't even be tempted by Turtle Rock at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point, because so Kyong having a King Samari, his Ice Palace is going to be a lot faster, right? But Coolpapabell doesn't even know that King Samari exists in this game. If Turtle Rock or Mire for that matter, it comes out empty, not a care in the world, because he just doesn't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of seed that is dangerous to anyone who might have an execute. I think it's safe to say that Kyong has a little bit of an execution advantage over Coolpapabell, although Coolpapabell has obviously shown tremendous execution to make it as far as he has to be here in top 32. But I would still say that Kyong overall has a little bit, more of the execution advantage. But this is the kind of seed where that really doesn't matter. It's a matter of who finds this bow first wherever it could be.
Yeah, and of course, like the world is wide open. It's almost like a I don't know, reverse ice rod hunt. I mean, it's a bow hunt, but it's like you have literally like the entire world open to you, right? At this point, where you know which coin flips or which decisions are you going to pick in this case? Yeah, and there's not going to be like a right or wrong one, right? It's just going to be where is that bow? That's going to be the right one for this particular team.
And it's literally just going to be a matter of, boy, I picked right, good for me, or man, I picked wrong. Did Kyong do Spike Cave when he was up here?
He did not. That was actually one thing I was wondering if he wanted to do. Yeah, but I think he had enough, because he does have a blue potion, and he had the cane, or he had the blue cane. He was only on 5 powers, but I think he would have had enough to make it through. Maybe that was a check that he wanted to delay through later.
Yeah, with the boots, you know, the blue cane makes it relatively free. It wouldn't have been that big of an issue. Yeah, little surprised considering that's an orphan check for Kyong at this point. Now he's not going to do it until he potentially gets until he's potentially coming up for Turtle Rock.
Well, so he did pick up the book for what it's worth in Skullwood, so that could be another combination.
Yeah, that does open up. Yep. Ew.
Yes, I agree. It was not a good item in order to pick up. But I guess at least a silver lining is that they hadn't checked. They hadn't been really over to, in this case, well, Kyong hasn't done the Smith Chain yet, so he at least can basically take the Smith Chain all the way to Locksmith and then go check Bombo's Tablet. coolpapabell, on the other hand, though, because of just sequence of ordering, that Bombo's Tablet, if the bow's there, it's gonna be a much more difficult location for him to get back to.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting. So that's going to be kind of one of Kyong's like main win conditions if it's just on Bombo's Tablet.
Alright, curious to see though, in this case, if coolpapabell decides to kind of route Skull Woods slightly differently. I mean, he is also now in Bow Go mode because he has the Fire Rod, so very similar situation when Kyong was here. Looks like he is going to go straight to the back. I guess I'm curious to see if once he picks up his book, if he even does the front, by the way, if he's going to go back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if he even go back at this point. Although, well, no, I'm gonna say you wouldn't be able to do a pet check if he doesn't because obviously you wouldn't have the book. Never mind my point. It doesn't matter.
The fact that Kyong actually picked up the book, went back and checked pedestal with it, right? And we found the cape on pedestal. Like, I'm wondering if that actually kind of influenced his way over. Because now it's like, okay, I gotta check bumper ledge, right? But now you're over at bumper ledge, it's like, okay, I may as well go check graveyard ledge because.
Oh, absolutely, that was the case.
And so, like, if that doesn't happen for coolpapabell, like, when is he gonna go back over in order to get the cave smart if he even needs it, right?
Oh, I fully believe that seeing the cape on Ped influenced Kyong's routing to end up having him loop in North Dark World. I don't think that. I think if there was anything else on Ped, he would have just noped out and probably continued south, kind of doing what he's doing now. So picking up the cane, like weirdly enough, routing they did meant Kyong picked up his Cane of Samaria, which again haven't seen that it's required yet, although with Quake on hand I am now not as convinced that Samaria is only needed for GT. I definitely think our bow is going to be in one of my Turtle Rock.
Oh man. Well, I guess like at least if it's in the front of Meyer, right, or at least like the top level, like that's not cane required, right? It's only really just Vitrius. But but you don't know, right? Because like you never really want to go into the Meyer without the cane. All right, moment of truth. What do we have here?
Jeez.
Well.
All right.
I hope coolpapabell is at least somewhat comfortable with the idea of potentially never finding that lamp and doing, Fire Rock Ganon on GT.
I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of dark rooms that we're super worried about. Especially for levels. Basically brothers here, top 32 of SGL, right? Kyong looks like he has a hand over pod. So these are probably going to be some of like the hardest dark rooms. In this case, like the basement with dark turtles, but they have Fire Rod, so not going to be too bad. Not too bad. I'm a little bit surprised that we're doing this before pod, or not. This is pod. I'm a little surprised we're doing this before Ice Palace. Excuse me. Given that it is a clearable crystal, but Kyong knows better. Kyong is a 3-time mystery champion and knows everything. So I'm not going to doubt Kyong's decision making. This also could just be a check to see if, like, hey, is this bow locked? And
Yeah,
if it is, you just nope out.
Yeah, that was actually what my initial thought was. So, like, this could actually be a pretty quick check. You do have the flute to get back here, and it's bow locked. So then Kyong knows, especially that first item was also the key. So that's even nicer, right? Because once you have the bow, just go, right?
That's gonna be that is basically the best kind of plot
yeah,
given the fact that we are
so
in Bogo
nice.
mode.
See, this is why Kyong is, you said 3-time mystery champion, right? Like, he knows how to piece together everything, right? Like, you know, mystery champion, spoiler champion, SGPT champion, and actually Kyong actually, he won the qualifiers last year for HP's community. And if real life circumstances actually would have warranted SGL to be in person, he would have been able to come over and compete, like in a real live tournament.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of unfortunate. I mean, this is how good Kyong is, so.
But anyways, CPB now checking to see that there is nothing on Bumper Cave, which is good because he doesn't know that it's the cape that's sitting there on Ped. Did not check, but we'll be picking up this Kano Samaria, so good for him. And probably need some straight ice.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's an ice rod.
Why? Why must you show up before the bow in this scene? Game? Oh my gosh. Every other scene, you want the ice rod to show up, right? As soon as it possibly can, and it's just like sitting here free in Ice Palace, and yet we can't find the dang bow.
So I think, given the choice, you're doing Turtle Rock before Meyer at this point.
How about a shovel? Are you gonna do the shovel before you go up to TR?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. At least we turned in the I thought maybe we had the mushroom, but I just remember that it was Kyung's buddy sprite that we saw for yeah, and so I was gonna say we might not actually see the other fresh quest because we're just so potentially do this. Coco Bell actually showing us a pretty cool current jump over here to the east side of Gulf with the flippers. This is actually a really nice access. Yeah,
took him 2 bumps to get it, so very nicely done. Not an easy trick if you're kind of unsure how to make it work, so good on CPB for doing that.
Oh, see, so when I looked over on his screen, it was actually just the first try.
Clearly it was the first try. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, nope, we've already established that I don't know how to count, right? So you're just counting.
First try.
First.
What?
Thirst.
What was that?
I'm trying to say third and first at the same time, and it's like not working.
Alright,
so nothing on Catfish, right? Okay, alright.
Yeah, no, nothing on Catfish. Did get the big key to Ice Palace, so still looking for 1 item. CPB is going to be joining Kyong here in... Oh, I was going to say...
We are almost going to be joining Kyong shortly. Oh, maybe he wants a potion?
That's reasonable.
This is reasonable. Yeah.
You know, given that we were given so much at the beginning that our heart situation is a little bit low, so I can understand CPB wanting to pick up some potions, not only for Ice Palace but just moving forward in general.
And it looks like actually maybe he didn't actually end up I guess doing anything in Waterfall area like earlier, like what counted, because he basically got like a free flute potion out of it, right? So, but I mean with the flute it's really fast in order to go over to potion shop.
Yeah. Alright, so it'll be interesting to see what Kyong does next. The ball is kind of in his court, as people who say those kind of things would say.
I don't see any balls. I guess we're gonna see 3 of them here real soon, right? Because they're like holster punch or something.
They're eyeballs. Okay,
yes.
Cool. All right, good joke.
Good, yes.
I'm proud of myself. No.
Kyong demolishing, putting his display of execution on, just demolishing full stare. Picks up our last medallion.
And he does have Quake because we picked that up off of Big Game. So. Yeah, alright. Where does Kyong go next? Because now at this point you're basically looking at Turtle Rock or Meyer.
Yeah, he could just clear out Desert. Maybe he wants to wait though until maybe he makes a better decision on whether or not he wants to go into Meyer. Because he still needs that crystal.
We're gonna do Dig Spot first.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot we picked up the shovel as our second item. Looks like coolpapabell is actually trying to get over to do Icebreaker. Yeah, see, I clearly, as soon as I looked over, it was first try. So that is, I don't, you can do the actual counting and math. Okay, someone else wants to go that.
It was first try.
Okay. Just like it was first try dig, just like that. I definitely saw that. I have evidence now that there's only one dig spot on screen. Alright, as you said, here we go. We are so hopeful earlier that we were going to be able to avoid Turtle Rock or Mire or Swamp for that matter, and yeah, here we are.
Yep, so what Kyong really doesn't want to see at this point are the flippers.
Yes, correct. Yeah, flippers at this point would just basically open up Swamp Palace, and I mean, you know, it's up 7 items with the green pendant, but you know, also 2 of them potentially are on the left side, and it's not like you really want to do left side, right? Especially this early when you're just basically trying to find one item, right, which is the bow.
Oh, that's a dead rock that is in the way. Do we just... Oh. I was curious to see if that dead rock was going to alter his routing and have him check Ether Tablet first, but the answer to that question was no.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting point. So maybe he wants to try and combine that, right? See what Turtle Rock has to offer. If obviously the bow is here, we can just quit out immediately. Once we, I guess, finish up the dungeon, we'll be right back here to the beginning, and then we can run over. Or he just save and quit and then, you know, climb the mountain just on the west side. Not quite sure which one can be faster.
Chat does bring up a little bit of a good point that flippers cannot be on Trinex. It could be the bow on Trinex still, but not the flippers. Having said that, I can't wait for the bow to be in Spike Cave and both runners to have skipped it.
This isn't the main tournament wall kicks. Like, Spike Cave is not going to be one of those like items that's going to haunt people,
Look,
right?
Spike Cave knocked me out of the tournament in the main tournament.
I'm sorry to bring up old wounds, wall kicks.
It's fine.
At least bows weren't progressive then, for what it's worth. Alright, what are we gonna find here? So we can still find. I was gonna say we can still find flippers here, though, right? In the front of Turtle Rock, right?
Yeah, just can't be on. Yeah, just can't be on Trinex. All right, so CPB is unfortunately in a position where they kind of have to make a different play from Kyong, which basically means he's got to choose Mire. Which I know there is one person in chat who has basically been yelling Mire since the season started. But that's a really difficult choice to make because it's 2 items versus 5.
coolpapabell also needs to make sure he stays alive. Blue mail is very helpful, but he's only on 3 hearts, and puffs actually do hurt exactly 3 hearts worth of damage. Oh,
we're fine.
Sorry, what were you saying though about coolpapabell making a different decision than Kyong? Like he might go into Mire versus Turtle Rock?
Yeah, but basically, like I think if his win condition is he has to essentially choose Mire, have Mire be correct, because if he's just going to follow Kyong into Turtle Rock, he's not going to be making any, he's not going to be catching up. And like I said earlier, I do believe Kyong's execution is just a little bit better than CPB's.
Yeah, I mean, like. Kyong obviously has had some pretty amazing boss fights, but I mean you just see him basically throughout this entire scene. His execution has been very much on point. Kyong is very consistent, and he is ruthlessly efficient. Basically what he does.
And if you're ever unsure about that, just look at his emotions.
Yeah, he has been completely stoic basically this entire time.
So one thing that CPB is actually going to be doing first, which actually could be a benefit, looks like we're heading to Ether Tablet.
So, I mean, if something's here, right, like, this is going to be a pretty, fast check for coolpapabell, and if the bow is here, he is in go mode, and he doesn't have to do any Turtle Rock.
I have to imagine he's also got a loop and Spike Cave with this. At least I hope.
Yeah. I think when you're here, you have to do both of them.
Not a bow.
Do you think we can buy a bow? How much do you think they cost? I know Fire Shield costs 500. You're not doing Spike Cave. Okay. Maybe this is gonna be a trip back, because he thinks maybe it's too expensive time-wise?
I don't know, but either way, it is not Spike Cave. We are going into Turtle Rock, which is unfortunate for CPP. I mean, good if the bow is in here, because then, you know, he's in go mode, but bad because Kyong is 65% of the way through this dungeon already.
Yeah, Kyong, in this case, I think he is slowly gaining time over coolpapabell. Just like every room seems to be just like a slight inch ahead, like just a little bit further.
Yeah. So a little bit, again, just a little bit unfortunate for CPP, but the race isn't over yet. It could not be in here. Like, we could maybe get the flippers in here, and then Kyong chooses Swamp, and then CPP chooses Mire. Who knows? Not me.
Yeah.
Maybe
no.
Clear Mouse, you know, right? Like,
no, I refuse to make any predictions, wall cakes, because the last time we tried to do this, we just screwed over. I think everything that we said was wrong. So
I'm pretty sure that was me that was wrong about it.
I mean,
you know what? The one prediction I was right on.
The GT Big Key location, which was so terrible because it was happens to be 22 and can't do anything right, wall cakes. That's I think that was the lesson that we learned.
Yes. Oh no, I'm stuck. No, I'm stuck.
No, don't worry. You know what? Well, you said the bow is going to be Spike Cave, right? And you know, I'm sure the runners will be thanking you once they find it. It's Spike Cave, so.
All right. On to Laser Bridge. How many items have we picked up in Turtle Rock? Does anybody know?
4?
Good. We picked up 4.
3?
Really
no, probably not 4. Probably not 4. Maybe let's just say 3.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? We found the bow in Turtle Rock. We don't need anything else.
Nope.
That is our go mode. Alright, so at least we didn't have to go all the way to Trinex. We did not, thankfully, find the flippers freaking anywhere. That is going to be like really good news for our runners. Because I was never going to be tempted. And it looks like actually that Kana Samaria was 100% required because it was all the way in Laser Bridge.
Yeah, so both were super excited. Like, I can't imagine CPP is going to actually feel super bad about his plays.
Oh no,
it's unfortunate that he's just flat up behind at this point. But like, you can't be feeling too terrible because considering the Kana Samaria location.
Yeah, I mean, so both runners, you know, so certainly Kyong most likely would have been probably more influenced, you know, by the pedestal knowledge of the fact that it was the cave there, check bumper ledge immediately, and then kind of led him over to the Kana Samaria. But coolpapabell, you know, decided to go check the North Dark Hole anyway. That was probably could be like one of the biggest decision points for them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but
considering what it led to, yeah. Go
yeah.
on, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like, but as you said, like, I don't think either runner is feeling bad. Like, I mean, I don't know how often you feel good during a race, like, because it's a high stakes race, you don't know where your opponent is. But you know, given everything they've done, it's not like they didn't really make any like non-progress, right? Like, they cleared out all the crystal dungeons that they could, just ended up fighting nothing, and then the very basically first, you know, pendant dungeon they ended up dipping, right? Had what they wanted. So how bad could you feel, like, at this point, right? And it's not like, you know, anything else really bad that happened in terms of like execution either.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I mean. Like, obviously, yeah, you never feel like, oh my god, I am the best when it comes to racing. Like, I am clearly winning. But in terms of how you've routed, like in your mind, you got to be thinking, okay, I've routed this seed pretty well. So I know I'm not necessarily losing time to my route. I might be losing my time because of like my execution, or I might be gaining time because of my execution. But I know that my routing choices this seed were correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least largely correct.
Yeah. And I guess I mean, right, as you said, like maybe like the only kind of like real concern, you know, that might be kind of like nagging or like gnawing at you is, you know, it's like, well, in this case, like, let's just say that you think you have an execution disadvantage over your opponent. Like, it's like, well, maybe, what if my opponent kind of did this and I'm just going to lose this battle because, you know, it is a battle of execution. But hopefully, you know, I mean, I'm not really sure how constructive that kind of thinking is, because it's not like you can like do much about it at this point, but you can't help but think about stuff like this, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, that definitely crawls into your mind, but you know, one of the big things that and I'll just talk a little bit personal experiences. One of the things that I've learned, you know, playing Rando over the course of the years is not necessarily concern myself with what my opponent's doing, focus on myself, and if my routing and my execution is good enough to win, then that'll show. But if it's not, it's not. And you know, you don't get upset about that too much.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I think, very good perspective. You know, and of course, you know, these runners, Kyong and coolpapabell, been around the community for quite some time, right? They have lots of tournament racing experience, right? And I think that what you've actually mentioned is something that is kind of like underrated. It's not something that people usually like think about, but actually coping and handling tournament pressure, right? And where you think you are in the state of the match and handling kind of tilts is actually very, very important. Almost just as important as like execution and routing.
Yeah,
because you need to stay sane and still play to your best. Otherwise, you can't do anything else.
Yeah, and that comes with, you know, the experience of playing rando, and like you said, both these runners have that in spades. So I don't expect either runner to like think that they're gonna. I don't expect either to succumb to the pressure that they might be feeling. That is go mode for CPB. Again, you know, has to be feeling just fine about how the seed is played out.
He did kind of shake his head. I'm not sure if that. I don't know if that means like, oh, I can't believe I had to go dip turn rock for this. But you know, certainly, as you said, it is at least not one of like the. He didn't go dip like 20 minutes worth of searching, right, in order to find that bow. One thing that we did actually notice on coolpapabell's side, he never visited Bombo's tablet, right? When he was doing the conveyor belt room in Turtle Rock, it was completely dark, and the fact that he doesn't have the lamp actually would probably put him, I would say, a little bit farther behind, just because he is going to probably take a little bit longer, not to potentially in these dark rooms, but also like in GT when Ganon, right? If he only has a fire rod to work with.
I think that's gonna probably rear its head the most during the climb. Going through the gauntlets, you know, Kyong is going to be more liberal using his fire rod. CPB, because he doesn't have that lamp and has to conserve his fire rod shots, probably going to be sticking to his sword and bow. So I think that's kind of where the biggest of time is going to be shown here, because given that the big key in pod was just in the first chest, we don't need to worry about the maze or dark basement, and going through dark pod isn't too big of the fire rod, because you can just do the fire rod shot in the turtle room, and that's really the only room where it's actually dangerous.
Yeah, and you sort of bring up a good point. Like, for example, like, so even though, especially runners at this point, you know, kind of don't really pay much attention to the lamp, but, you know, the lamp is actually very useful. For example, lighting the torches in Torches 1 and up for GT, as you said, right? People are just very used to, like, NMG level strats, right? Where basically you have, like, combination of the lamp and fire rod, you plan out all your max usage, right? In order to basically make those rooms go, like, as fast as possible. But if you hit the fire rod, right, you can't really kind of fall back to that.
Yeah, but as Chad mentioned, CPB does have 2 blue potions, so you could potentially be a lot more liberal with the fire than I first indicated.
Yeah, speaking of, we don't need any more magic. We're going to pick up a little bit more here, but coolpapabell actually, in this case, this is also another, I think, underrated skill that people that runners have that maybe sometimes is not as much highlighted. They have actually very good resource management. They know when they can actually use magic. They know when to use medallions. Like, for example, like, he knows he just wants to get through this room as fast as possible, and he has a fire rush shot. So what are you going to save it for at this point? Right? Yeah. Just get through the room and get through as fast as you can.
And you know where the torch is, and it's just a quick shot.
Yeah,
so cool. So actually, Kyong at least is very quickly approaching 7 crystals. What do we do after we get 7 crystals?
Can we go to a pawn shop and trade them in for something? Is that like
baby, I wish. Who needs to go? Zelda, I'm going to the pawn shop with all these crystals.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if they have a curiosity shop, like surely they must have a pawn shop somewhere, right? Maybe there's like a show or something in Hyrule that we can start up as a reality show.
There's a lot of gambling that you know.
That is true. Yes.
Areas where you pay 100 rupees and you open one of 3 chests, and it's like, all right, cool, I lost all of my money.
Well, I mean, so the crystals are just like collateral at this point, right? We can like forward ourselves a loan or something. Good, okay.
Yeah, and then you get really deep into debt, and then the Hyrule, what would you call them? The Hyrule like ninjas or something would come in and whisk you away without even noticing.
Oh, dude, that would be sweet. I want to see Hyrule ninjas.
That is not the reaction I was expecting. Anyways, we have 7 crystals on Kyong's side. We're going up to Ganon's Tower. There are 22 checks in GT.
Okay, alright, ball kicks. Where do you think the GT big key is? Ball kicks? We're gonna get this on the record right now.
Alright, it's going to be in...
We're waiting. Are we gonna wait a little bit longer until Kyong finds it, and then you're gonna make your prediction?
Maybe.
Is that what's gonna happen?
No, it's Fire Snake Room.
Okay, alright. Okay. That's not too bad.
I no longer think it's gonna be right side just to make the Canis Maria mean something because the Canis Maria meant something earlier.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We did actually have to end up using the Canis Maria in this case. I'm actually not sure what route Kyong prefers in this case. You know, so common GT routes, of course, is you can go to Hope Room, and if there's a small key, continue on to Compass Room and the right side, or require the Canis Maria. Or you could do Stalfos Room, get yourself a guaranteed small key, and then go right. Or you can go to Stalfos Room and just continue left.
I think Kyong prefers sort of a Stalfos Room over to Compass Room, but I'm not positive.
This, by the way, has also been a very comfy execution seed, right? Just because we had Tempest Sword pretty early, we got silver. Well, we were in bow go mode, but basically, like every time we wanted to use the bow, right, we had silvers. So
I think this is exactly the kind of seed you asked for.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no small key there, so we are going left. Seem to be having a little bit of trouble finding this torch. Did have to use up one of his potions.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
In order to light these torches. So down one blue potion, but still has another one.
Yeah, and unless of course the good news is if he also wants another blue potion. I mean, he has the flute, right? So long as he has something for GT, the climb itself, a flute over to 2, and buying another potion. Given that he has 708 rupees to his name, you know, I think he could probably afford, you know, even 2 potions if he really needs it. That's a lot of small keys. Did you see? We have 4 small keys already.
I mean, we had to find small keys eventually. It just,
that is true.
They were very quick. But it looks like Kyong is going to continue on full left.
Yeah, so I guess for what it's worth, if coolpapabell ends up doing going to Stalfos from first and gets his key and then ends up going to right side compass, and the big key is there, this is going to be probably one of the largest diversions in terms of time.
Yeah, unfortunately CPB still needs to finish off Desert though, so I think even...
Oh, right, I forgot
given that,
crystal.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough time for that route to even make something up. Alright, this is where I said the big key was going to be.
Is it here? It was an arrow refill, I guess? I mean, you know, you could never have enough silver arrows, I guess?
That's true. I'll take my victory. Wait, I didn't win anything. Just kidding. Alright, Clearmouse, where's the big key?
It's... Let's say it's behind Ice Armos? Man, it could be in Compass Room. That's how
that would be unfortunate if it was behind Compass Room. We did find half magic though.
Yes, unfortunately we couldn't carry it with us. I think we already had like a full magic bar at that point.
I think we did too.
Alright though, coolpapabell though is on his way at least to kill Landolas. He has Fire Rod, he has silver arrows, whatever he wants to do.
Okay, hear me out. What if the big key is in the big chest?
We might have to have a chat with some of the developers of this game, if that's the case. I think it would actually be a very interesting scene, though, if that were the case.
Alright, Ice Armos down for... Oh, just kidding. We missed 2 shots. Come on, Kyong. I believed in you.
The wall did not survive. It got a couple of souvenirs.
Alright, well...
Alright, so it's either Compass Room or it's going to be Tower Room. So we have... hopefully it's going to be... Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you hope at this point for Kyong. Like, do you hope it's a Tower Room? Because then you know that in this case your GT routing has lost over your opponent, right?
I don't think Kyong cares either way. mean, are you looking at Kyong's face?
I am actually. I'm watching him show the same amount of emotion and movement as he has basically this entire scene.
I feel like he has shifted in his chair a little bit. I feel like if you watch like maybe 15 minutes ago, he was at a little bit of a different angle on his camera. So I feel like maybe he has shifted his chair a little bit. So clearly he is feeling the pressure.
Yeah, actually, when he sat off the King of Samaria block there, you actually saw him like kind of like move in his chair a little by like leaning forward. Hey, and there's our big key in a compass room. Not even gonna bother to actually get the real compass chest that actually opens up all of like the holes in the ground.
So I just want to point out, I'm pretty sure I called that it was gonna be in compass room like way at the beginning of the siege.
I believe you. Yeah, we're gonna roll the tape back, and watch the VOD. I fully believe you, Wallcakes, just like I believe all of your counting skills. Yes.
All right, GT climb up for Kyong, and then he'll likely be looking to move on in this tournament. CBB's got to have some good things go his way, but if he chooses to go, if he chooses Stalfos from right, he will make up a little bit of time. So still not out of the realm of possibility, but again, just with Kyong's overall execution, not an easy deficit to make up.
Yeah, no, certainly there have certainly been plenty of races where a runner has suddenly come from behind and clutched out the race, just by playing, and some kind of unfortunate mishaps happen to the other person's head. Certainly that's not the case we want to happen in this case, but in coolpapabell's case, as you said, he is going to not only need to do some good things himself, but also kind of hope that his Kyong might make an uncharacteristic mistake.
Yep, and Kyong is just kind of moving right along through.
Yeah, no, his gauntlet execution has been very on point. Like his G5, well, for example, for that room was just like blazing fast.
It looks like CPB is going to be choosing the same route in GT as Kyong's not going to be making up any time there. A little unfortunate.
He could still surprise us by mirroring over, but chances are you're correct, Wallcakes. Once he basically does southwest turn, he'll just continue full left. Not getting frame ruled on the bridge, always a good sign.
Pulling out the lamp. Kyong is just flexing over CPB at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He got to check Bumbo's tablet.
He's like, I've got this lamp and I'm gonna use it.
Man, so the winner of this race, loser's bracket, is actually going to play the loser of Superman Taylor and Skipsy, who I believe is actually playing this Saturday night. I saw the game on the schedule. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like everyone is a name, right? There's like
there's no easy opponents.
Yeah, it's like, well, there weren't really, I would say, easy opponents in the top 128 either. I mean,
sure.
We're in the losers bracket, like facing somebody like Kyong. I mean, oh no, what happened? Was there a poke instead?
Yeah, that first hit was definitely a poke. That first hit was, oh god, please don't knock me off.
Yeah, not often you get to see the case where Molder 2 is mad at you. Only Molder 1 can be mad. Molder 2 is more of a pacifist. Just kind of like they're chilling, and then suddenly you just come over here, and then because he spawns a chest or something that you want to open. All right, Agadam 2. We have one real wizard, two fake wizards, a bat, and a pig, standing in our way of victory for Kyong.
Not even getting the free double SMH. Not even getting the free double SMH.
I'm not sure if that was possible. Alright, okay. Something, yeah, 3 cycle. I did see at least one blue ball over there. So at this point, do you just have the race time room closed out of curiosity, Wallcakes? Or do you always have it closed?
I always have it closed. Like, unless I'm feeling super behind, I keep the race room closed pretty much the entire time. But like even if in an instance where I would have it open, Aga 2 is where I close it.
Alright,
I don't want to think about getting sniped during the Ganon fight. I'll just finish off Ganon and see if I've been sniped.
Alright, coolpapabell checking behind Ice Armos. Unfortunately, does not find his big key, so he's going to go over. If he does title room first now, it would unfortunately be another more time loss, but hopefully he'll just go straight to conference room. Meanwhile, though, Kyong got 1-1, I assume, as I look back. First try.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a 1-1 this time. You can actually trust me on that.
Okay. I mean, we are already on phase 3. This is going to be, looks like a really nice and fast fight from Kyong. Hopefully Ganon does not warp too many times, so we can claim victory very shortly here.
Minimal warps, you'll love to see it.
Save this for NMG.
No, NMG you get all the warps.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, looks like we got a double for Silver Arrows, so 2 more, 1 more, and that is game! Kyong is going to hold out his sword. He is going to cross this bridge, going to go through this fanfare. He is going to claim victory and move on to SGL for the next round within the loser's bracket. Get your GGs out in chat for Kyong. Put out an amazing show today for you. For us. For him. For everyone here.
And unofficial time of 1:18:13. I say that because that's what it shows on his screen, and I don't have the race recording.
Sounds good. His time is actually official race time room was 1 hour 18:14, so very close. I know.
He ended it early.
Or maybe there was lag. Who knows? But GG's to Kyong. Looks like coolpapabell is actually going to finish up at least Ganon's tower. He's not far behind here after picking up his big key from Compass chest. Compass room, whatever.
Yeah, like that's reasonable. Like he's had a good seed. This is
yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, yeah.
He didn't lose because of any one mistake on his part. It just in a seed like this, you needed Kyong to not make the same decisions that he did, and that's essentially what ended up happening. This was the kind of seed that it could have happened because we were essentially in go mode, and we could have been anywhere. We are actually joined now by Kyong. GG's.
GG's, Kyong.
Hey, thank you.
So let's get your initial thoughts on the bow. I mean, you basically went into Dark World as a whole because you chose DBM first and picked up your fire rod. You were basically looking for the bow from the moment you stepped foot into Dark World. It's kind of walk us through your thoughts and your decision process that eventually led you to finding the bow.
Yeah, that was kind of gross. I decided to float to the DM first just to get that out of the way, especially knowing that Turtle Rock was a pendant anyways. So I just get like a burst of items and maybe get, I don't know, book or fire rod or something. Which I did end up getting the fire rod, so that was nice. Then when I went into Skull Woods and got that book, I was like, sure, I guess I'll check Pedestal. I wasn't really planning on doing North Dark World, but then Pedestal showed
Yeah,
was
he's
like,
on the cape, right?
it's like, I guess I'll check that, right? And since I'm here, may as well just go a little bit to the right here instead of postponing for later, I suppose. And then I did the clear of basically everything, and basically the only things I got was like Somaria and lamp, and I guess book, which I thought was, I don't know, a bit fishy. I was expecting that maybe it was around that area, so I went first into a low pod, mostly because of that lamp. And then after seeing that it was immediately Bollock, I was like, alright, I guess I'm gonna try to make use of this Somaria, especially since I took some additional time to get it, which could have been something that my opponent didn't, and it does take quite a while. And in a one item go mode seed, it was kind of scary. So I did do Ice Palace first just in case Flippers was in Turtle Rock or something. And then decided to just go straight to Turtle Rock after that.
I assume maybe like the ice rod also helped you nudge that direction?
Yeah, I mean, I was going there anyways. But, yeah, I mean, that didn't hurt.
Your mod fight was very impressive, Cal.
Yeah, that was pretty
Time to go back to NMG, right?
I got a good RNG, so I didn't need to do extra work there.
Yeah, I mean, but you put on like an amazingly good show. Like execution was very on point today, and certainly it definitely showed both in your routing and your collection rate and your time here. So
Yeah, your routing was very thorough, very on point. So GG's to you. You're moving on. Looking to, I believe we were looking at the bracket a little earlier. Facing the next Nairobi loser. There must be some
yes,
yes.
Well, okay. So right, so I misread the bracket the first I jumped in, but no, I'm sorry. That was totally my fault. I saw different letters. I just miscounted the beginning of the alphabet. Really, that's what happened. Okay, so looking at the real bracket for real, you are actually gonna play the loser of Zero Rush and Dunka. Any particular thoughts for those particular opponents?
Not really, but